Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Navtastic, podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandes and...
I am Lightning Man! No, wait, I'm Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
Lightning does our bidding! This is a podcast for Lightning Man from season 7 of Laverne and Shirley. Written by Jack Lukes and Shelley Goldstein and directed by Tom Trivich. I'm sure Chris has some facts about the writers coming up.
Yeah, Tom is still going to be elusive.
Animal.
It's season 8. I promise we'll get something on the guy. I'll track him down. I'll mail him a postcard.
Yeah, talk to us, Tom Trivich. And here's what the episode's about. One stormy afternoon, Carmine manages to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and is struck by lightning. His survival and his day's defense of Cowboy Bills from a robber in front of a local news crew results in a bit of local fame. Squiggy jumps on the prospect and begins to book Carmine everywhere for personal appearances as Lightning Man, a daredevil willing to do anything to get press attention and a hero to children everywhere. Squiggy gains the interest of a small-time industrial film producer hoping to make a Lightning Man movie. All Carmine has to do is walk a wire positioned over Sunset Boulevard without a net below him to secure the deal. Carmine still gets sick of this scary life thanks to the intervention of Frank, but Squiggy's quite willing to go out on a wire for his latest find. Will both men survive? What did you think of this episode?
Huh. That was neat. Yeah, that was
It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, the actor notes are going to be very much a buckle up. It is conceptually, this is very much like this is one of those kids show episodes, in my opinion. Like this comes off the way like Nick-coms would have plots like this, and cartoons would have plot like this. You know, it's funny I even mentioned that because the writer Shelley Goldstein, who worked on this, they'd been a staff writer for season 6 and 7, but this is the only one she has credit on as a writer. But two things that she ended up working on, one of which was a couple episodes of Forever Night, and also was doing additional writing for the Christopher Lloyd starring video game Toonstruck. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Super cool.
I'm not saying it's not cool. It's one of those just kind of like, that kind of maybe makes this make a little more sense. But yeah, what is weird to me about this episode is how it's a very Carmine-centric episode, and yet it's still very much, both from the directing and the performance, treats Carmine like a secondary character rather than a very active protagonist in the story.
Yeah, actually it does. Carmine kind of gets battered about by fate. First by Squiggy's extremely strong point of view here and his desire to get money and his agenting skills, and then Frank being the voice of reason, jumping in and stopping anything disastrous from happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's really odd. It's like he is being led from one part of the plot to the next.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't have an agency of his own. It's weird.
I think you and I have seen this before, talked about like the passive protagonist, and you have to be kind of cautious of that because it can disconnect the audience from your lead. And in this case, for me, it kind of did. Like I don't dislike the episode, and I don't dislike Carmine in it, but I don't feel as tight to him after the opening sequence, because the opening sequence in Cowboy Bills, where he comes in, he's all bolted, and he's, it's all the little birdies, he's all zap-struck, thunderstruck, and all that, and his whole thing, the Grandma Ragusa thing, even his whole bit with Shirley and Laverne stealing the kiss, the implications, even him saving the day, and like the whole detail of how he saves the day from a crook with what looks like a burnt garlic stick or something.
It does. It honestly does. I think it might be. Considering how bad the cuisine is at Cowboy Bills, it probably is.
And also, on that note, who the hell robs a restaurant in the middle of a thunderstorm? I just, oh my God.
Someone who thinks that they can command the seas like beside themselves. I guess maybe they thought the rain would wash away the footsteps or whatever. Something.
I mean, the dude's pretty distinctive. He's got the brow and the facial hair, the clothes, I mean, you'd have to like have a change of clothes out there, It's like, well, that person was wearing a poncho, so therefore they're not wet. See, I don't have a poncho and I am wet. Therefore, I am not the robber.
Yeah, I have no idea what he was thinking or why he did this thing.
But in any case, I do want to point out,
amazing.
Because this is going to be a real quick throwaway thing, is Bo Sabato is credited as the thug. And from what I can tell, it was clearly another buddy of Gary Marshall's. He was an umpire in 2 episodes of Happy Days. He's in Beaches, Flamingo Kid, and the one with Tom Hanks opposite.
Nothing in Common?
Nothing in Common. That's it. That's the one. Thank you. But however, we do need to give this guy props because he was in an episode of Quantum Leap back in its old days. And the 80s grindhouse pseudo classic Neon Maniacs.
That's amazing. That's cool.
At the very least, this is the least embarrassing thing for him to be, the least embarrassing scenario he has performed, being a thug who tries to rob a restaurant and gets caught by a mostly naked man who's just been struck by lightning with a piece of bread in the back.
That's cool. That's amazing.
Because otherwise you're dealing with Neon Maniacs, which I enjoy that movie, but oh my God, that is a cheesy movie.
I actually have not seen that, but I have heard of that.
Yeah, I've watched like the first 45 minutes or so, because it's one of those, you put it on while you're making dinner and sit down and watch while you eat, and it's trip.
Yeah. I'm gonna see it. Eventually, I gotta see it. One day, I will see it. That was on the list.
Anyway, so what is your take on this as a Carmine episode? Because this is very specifically, like, pretty much after the girls show up in this opening scene, they're gone, which is kind of the same with Helmet Weekend as well.
Yeah. And it's the same as Crime Isn't Pretty.
Yes.
That's very much a pattern in season 7, where the girls pop in, they establish a plot, they disappear for the majority of the plot. That's because of behind-the-scenes stuff, tragically, from what I can grasp, from what I understand, from what I know. It's very much a Carmine-centric episode. I like more grounded stuff like the Dance Studio, to be frank, when it comes to my Carmine episodes. This one's a little out there. The big highlights for me of this episode is Wheeler Dealer Squiggy, just clawing and scratching to get his client a position somewhere in the Hollywood hierarchy. That's my big highlight for this episode. And it's all David being fun. It's not to say that Eddie doesn't hold up his own end of the bargain acting-wise. He does a good job. But the plot here is like really bizarre and kiddie. It kind of feels like something that escaped from the latter Fonzie days of Happy Days for some reason. It feels like something that would happen to Ralph Malph, not Carmine Ragusa.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's a...
Yeah. It feels like an extension of something like Fearless Malph, where Ralph Malph is hypnotized to believe that he is fearless, kind of Fonzie-like guy. So he just goes around acting like a tough.
Gotcha.
And beating people up and doing daredevil stuff. That's what this episode reminds me of more than anything. I don't feel like it's out of character for Carmine. I don't feel like it's absolutely in character for Squiggy, but it's kind of goofy to the max in a lot of ways. And it's very much a harbinger of season 8 when we start delving into certain things that Chris doesn't know happens yet.
Oh God.
But it kind of setting this and Crime Isn't Pretty kind of set the tone in a lot of ways for what we're about to see. When it comes to how the characters are treated and how they're kind of separated out and put in odd little pairings to paper over what's going on.
That really concerns me, man.
You know not what is coming. You know not what is coming. You have never seen fire.
This is so basically you're basically telling me that season 8 is like when I went to go see Boxer's Omen for the first time, and the guy introing the movie, the curator at the theater says, "You guys ready for Boxer's Omen?" And we're all like, "Yeah," and he so laughs in the microphone. No, you're not.
That's the way you do it. That's the way you do it, and it's true. It's all true. 100% true.
I get the feeling I'm going to want to watch Boxer's Omen on repeat for 2 days rather than watch season 8.
Well, we'll see. You might like it. You've ended up liking some of the weaker season 7 episodes more than I thought you would.
All right.
So it's going to be an interesting situation.
We'll see. All right. So
what I think is weaker.
But back to this one though. I mean, as you're saying, I think, I mean, the characters are in character. It's the sort of the plot. It's the plot and the tone I feel is kind of a little weird and off. Yeah. You can kind of feel like David Lander is kind of ad-libbing and having fun in this one and just blurting out stuff. Totally. Okay. Yeah, I referred to Squiggy in this as a measly, squealsy, squeaktastic scum. And
yes, that's a bit much.
It's a bit much, but think about the whole, it's like Kevin Swisher dropped out, get hooked on wine, and died in a gutter just because you didn't talk the little wino from quitting school.
Teenage mother spends 9 months of bourbon. Honestly, Squig is very much in his wheeler dealer mode, and they also press down really hard on this Squiggy is a horny slime ball button when he can't stop knocking on that girl even though she's not interested in him.
Oh yeah,
to
well,
the point
he
where
also.
it comes off as sexual harassment.
I mean,
So,
well, let's be real. It is sexual harassment. It's just that he's too dumb to
Yeah.
realize that that she's telling the buzz off, and she goes, "There's nothing you can do for me." And he goes, "Oh, a request."
a request. Smart boy. Bless his heart. Like, ultimately, what Squiggy is trying to do here is to get Carmine through the door by any means necessary, whether that involves cutting ribbons to the Piggly Wiggly, endangering himself for millions of dollars, which will immediately become his if should he fall off of a wire, and giving advice to small children who do not believe in him. Like, I understand his motives here, but it's not like the worst Squiggy has ever behaved. In the show, it's pretty bad, but it's not the worst.
I guess the thing is just it's the cumulative effort made me, I didn't turn on Squig, like I didn't want him to get hurt or anything, but it definitely was not the way I have in other episodes where I want him to get kicked in the penile region. But
Ooh, penile region. Oh, it's a good one. Penile region. I love that.
Well, we just watched a PRC noir the other day, and I was thinking of Penile Replacement Corporation presents.
Penile Replacement Corporation presents.
But yeah, this episode is what it is interesting though, and I will say this for Squig's favor. There are 3 scammers trying to use Carmine. That's essentially why this is very much a Carmine episode, is you have a reporter that's trying to piggyback off of his, right place, right time, wrong place, wrong time into right place, right time moment.
Yes.
And build up this legend of who the Lightning Man is. And then you have Squiggy as a wheeler dealer agent. And then you have the filmmaker, Mr. Henshaw, the industrial filmmaker or former dentist turned filmmaker sort of thing is kind of the implication.
Yeah. He made industrial dental films.
Right.
From what the show indicated.
Yeah, that's at least what it seems to have heavily implied. The dialogue gets a little overlapped by the laugh track, so it's a little hard to hear sometimes. And what I'll say in Squig's favor is
it was biting. It was the biting. The way Squiggy talks about it. It was the biting that really got me.
The thing I'll say in Squiggy's favor is once it really comes to a bad situation, he basically is like, I shouldn't have done that. Whereas when he tries to get out of it, and even Squiggy's even trying to say it's not that big of a deal. Like, see, and then he ends up doing it incidentally himself. He ends up actually being the one to go out there on the rope. With the other 2, they basically reject him immediately. There is no sympathy. There is no friendship. There is no connection. That it's a case of where Squig may, try to, scam me out of some money, and I mean, I will say that the scene with him with the mom and the, $10, and she goes, I don't have anything smaller than a 20. And he goes, neither do I. And he just takes it. That's a little bit much for me. I would say it goes over the line in the sense that it's like, there's not really, it takes him a bit to win me back by then, coming back around to, I'm, sort of like, Carmine, you're just ordinary. And, sort of like in the way that, Squeaky sometimes does it, he says you're ordinary, but not as an insult. It means that you shouldn't be risking your life for this because you would get hurt. That's what he means. And that's his redemption to me. Anyway.
Ultimately, in the end, as Squiggy may love money, but he does care about his friends. We established that in Helmet Weekends. We established that in a lot of previous Season 7 episodes. Ultimately, he does have a line that he won't cross.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, this episode doesn't reach it in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, this episode kind of exploits the fact that he is rather able to sell Carmine to a degree to the highest bidder. I mean, he literally has him sign his own death warrant.
Yeah.
This one a little bit. It does that kind of happen.
And the insurance policy bit, that
the insurance policy specifically is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's
death warrant.
That's not great. That's not great in a lot of ways.
Yeah. It's kind of like the way Squiggy basically probably has a bajillion life insurance policies out on Lenny at this point. It's like, well, if you die, I'll be safe. Who cares?
That would make an interesting what if, where you explore Squig without Len. And at first it's like, I got the money, that's fine. And then he begins to realize there's no one there to laugh at his jokes. There's no one. We'll come back to. Actually, we will come back to that thought in the next episode because I have notes about that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some thoughts about that, and they echo unto Season 8.
Oh,
so
no.
What happened?
That's right. Yeah, I know where that's going. All right. Anyway, okay, we did miss one. Unfortunately, we unfortunately did pass over a very able-bodied aspect of this episode.
Yes. Yes. What did we skip over?
Rhonda with the Fern family.
Yes, that's so cute. Rhonda has just a great little moment there. It's really great. She has a beautiful little monologue about how she and the Fern are like. They love the sun. They don't like it when their roots show. It's so cute.
I adore it. And
Yeah.
now, when Carmine comes in, he's introduced, and Carmine and their connection is reintroduced, I should say, and how Shirley shouldn't worry because you're not Rhonda's type. My remark is she's lying through her bra about not having been attracted to Carmine. Like, come on, give me a break. We've seen plenty of moments that
Yeah.
have implied
Yeah,
otherwise.
Exactly. Bless Rhonda. Like, we got to a whole episode. We got season 6. Family Persuasion. She and Carmine seem to have like a little flirty.
Oh yeah.
And so that's interesting in of itself. So saying that he's now her type is intriguing in of itself. My first note of this entire episode is full-on Carmine beefcake. We talked about this last episode about Eddie Mechexploitation.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Mechexploitation is in full stream ahead mode in this episode. There he is in his undies. And Carmine doesn't realize he's in his undies until the girls have left.
Yeah.
And Frank points it out, which is amazing.
Yep.
Grandma Ragusa. Everybody made fun of your mustache, but I didn't.
Especially when you kissed me.
Especially when you get tickled.
I'm not going to believe this. The strangest thing happened to me. Sure, you made me a grandmother. Wanted to give me a kiss. Oh, Frank is... Yeah, Phil is great in that. I mean, we're going to get to Phil Foster overall pretty soon because, he's features in the third act. But God, he's so good. The girls, have this little bit to kind of help set up the plot. I love there's even an L on the trash bag style poncho.
Yes. Laverne's naked without her L's. Laverne is so horny for the notion of being struck by lightning because it feels close to an orgasm, apparently. She is so into this notion. I have no idea why she's so into this notion.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious. It's like, you tingle all over, you vibrate.
Well, what else, huh? It's like, it's for educational purposes, Cheryl. Then read the Kinsey report.
Read the Kinsey report, all right, the way she delivers that. Oh, damn. And finally, the Kinsey report enters the Laverne Shirley verse. Where do you think each of these characters fall on the Kinsey scale?
I do not have the brain power for that, so we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that.
Poor brain. Poor juicy brain. I was going to say Shirley's so worried about Carmine, she's so solicitous, and then he just grabs the gusto and kisses her, and she's very into it. His body makeup smears all over those girls.
Mm-hmm. All over their lips,
Yeah, which is probably why Penny and Cindy were pro garbage bags. They didn't get all of his body naked. They didn't get all the body makeup they smeared on him on their whatever costumes they were going to be wearing.
Oh, totally.
Okay, whenever Edna gets a strange look in her eye, Frank gives her orange juice.
Yeah, she needs to cool off. That is some filthy implications.
Yeah. A, that's some filthy implications, and B, that all I could think of was Shelby in Steel Magnolias having a diabetic attack, needing orange juice.
Oh, jeez.
That's the only thing I could think of. It's like, what the heck? That's not what they wanted me to think of, but darn if I didn't think of it.
Is this the point when you gasp that I've never seen? There we go.
I love Steel Magnolias. I love it. How have you never seen it?
My mom didn't want to watch it.
Well, it's depressing and sad. I'm surprised your mom didn't want to see it, but it's a really good movie.
Yeah, because
it's a real good movie.
The women around her that wanted her to see it were not very good women. They were not good people.
Oh dear. Well, actually, it's not really depressing. It's ultimately life-affirming and lifting, but it's got sad moments. But it's very good. It's a very good, quote-unquote, woman's picture. I really like it. I mean, it's hard to hate a movie that has Shirley MacLaine, Sally Field, Julia Roberts, and Dolly Parton in it. And Olympia Dukakis. And Daryl Hannah.
Wow, God, dang, that is a good cast. Wow.
That's a loaded cast, and it is great. And Tom Skerritt plays Sally Field's husband in it.
Dang.
Yeah. Breakout role for Julia Roberts as well.
Very
the first
good.
time she got nominated for an Oscar.
Dang. Understandable because Julia Roberts is a good actor. Anyway,
I have a lot of feelings about this movie.
I can tell. Anywho, so Laverne stealing the kiss. I love that the trust between the girls is heavy enough that Shirley doesn't totally freak out. She does get upset.
She's mad.
She's mad, but she's not. She is because it's sort of like, hey, you're taking advantage of my boyfriend here. He kissed me. You're taking the kiss that was meant for me. Like, that's kind of her vibe there. But well, static electricity is going to draw my fist to your nose. Understand what I'm talking about? It's like, there's our Feeny. There's our Feeny.
Yep, there's our Cheryl. There's our Cheryl.
The squealy Shirley. What is it? The squirrely shimmy Shirley with the Feeny fist.
Squeaky shimmery Shirley. I can't remember how you put it.
Yeah.
How you used to put it, but you used it away.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there was a way. Yeah, it was like the squeaky shimmy and Shirley with the Feeny fist. There you go. But anyway, Carmine got all that energy, got to do something, and we cue the reporter, who is Murph of the Murph Tones again.
Which I did not recognize him at first, but now you mention it, that's indeed him. It's amazing.
How
do you feel? Medium well.
Man struck by lightning lives to joke about it.
Now notice the ginormous leak in Cowboys Bill's roof here. This is like a major franchise. I'm shocked that they actually let a leak get that bad in that restaurant's roof.
I think do you figure they're trying to imply that there's so little rain in California that they don't notice it until it happens?
Possible. Well, it does indeed rain in Southern California, as we all know, tragically.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make a note of Laverne saying I was drawn to him, like electricity, like static electricity.
Yeah.
About Carmine. Then Frank finally points out that Carmine's in his underwear. He gets really embarrassed that he's sitting there with his hoo-hoo out. And goes to cover up with an apron.
Yeah, I love the whole thing. Well, I can't fly yet. Yet. That's the important word here. What will happen when he wakes tomorrow? Will he be a superhero, a wizard, or a human lightning bug?
I love that. I love that line so much. I laugh every single time. I love that Frank is explaining where they are. He says, we're at Cowboy Bill's. And he goes, get us a couple of menus.
Yeah, it's like, good.
It's so rude and supercilious and perfect.
Absolutely. Sort of like, we don't care about your story, guy. It's very it's that kind of hustler climber guy that's like, okay, you're not you have nothing you can do for me. Get out of my face.
Yep.
And then we cue the thug, the hold up, stick him up. I've been ordered to shut up, ladies and gentlemen.
That whole bit is great. You can tell this guy is used to quote unquote crash TV, flying by his pants kind of stuff. The totally unexpected robber just coming in, making no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Carmine saving the day. He does it.
Yep.
He feels invincible. Poor dude.
I love Eddie is able to throw in so many physical touches with this, like how he still holds the bread down on the guy like a gun until he gets the actual gun from Pop, and then he takes him a second to like realize, wait a minute, this is the bread. I don't need that. He chucks it.
Yep. So good. It's so funny. The bits about Rhonda and the plants happen.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Squiggy's selling tours through Carmine's apartment, which is just like what they did with the girls when Laverne was the accessory to a robbery.
And then we have Squiggy enter and say there's a little boy who wants to spend 5 minutes with his new superhero, Lightning Man. And Rhonda can't be the able-bodied assistant because one look at you, Rhonda, and the kid's likely to puberticize.
He wouldn't be the first.
Oh, God. And there comes the Swishers, Mrs. Swisher and Kevin Swisher. Okay, so, because we already brought up, Kevin Swisher dropped out, got hooked on wine, died in the gutter, all that sort of stuff. Okay,
yes.
All right. So I gotta mention this right off the bat.
Oh, dear.
That kid, that's Noah Hathaway. Do you know who Noah Hathaway? That is Noah Hathaway. That is, for people who don't know, number one, that is Boxy from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
And that is Atreyu from The Neverending Story.
Yeah, I did not recognize him at first, but yeah, it is him. It's him.
It is
That's
him.
So cool.
Atreyu.
That's so cool.
Oh my God.
Atreyu.
Oh man. So trivia for him today is that he had already been in an episode of Mork and Mindy, and he ended up going on to take a break from acting after 1986, having then been also in the original Troll and an episode of The Magical World of Disney. But it seems like he kind of returned to acting in the 2010s, including being in the Tom Holland directed segment for Twisted Tales, which I think is kind of neat. But yeah, and then so Dottie Archibald as Mrs. Swisher. She would just come off of Young Doctors in Love. This is the beginning of Dottie's short but fruitful career in writing and acting, because she goes on to be the surgical nurse in Vasectomy, A Delicate Matter, and played Mrs. Fraser in Summer School. But the even bigger surprise, though, is she will be returning next season, both as an actor and writer, on the episode Councilman DeFazio.
Oh, Oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't even know that was her. That's intriguing.
Yeah, so she will come back.
Yeah.
Also, nice kick. I love that
Yes.
kick. That's great, and the
The
Foley
kick is
sells
really
it.
good.
Yeah.
That's really fun. It's real fun. I have a deep fondness for this kid. The kid does a great job. One of the most fun juvenile performances, right up there with Scott Marshall
Right. Yeah.
and Keith Coogan kicking butt in season 6.
Absolutely.
Real fun episodes. And also I will say season 2 Tracy Reiner.
Right.
Being my favorite of the Tracy performances on the show.
Was that season 2? Or was that season 3? The I Like Punching.
3 tag team wrestling. You are correct. 333. 333. 333.
333. 333.
You're correct. Yes. Wheeler Dealer Squig goes into full effect here. I get a big kick out of this. Karma's not actually bad at being a fake superhero. He's actually pretty good at it.
Yeah, he does good with the kid. I love that even the punchline of it being, don't touch him, ma'am, he's bonded, worked really well.
That's fun.
Because of how he's able to connect with the kid. And I love that Noah as an actor is able to really, you see he's a smart enough actor to play the precocious brat that is he's enjoying the moment. But as soon as they leave, he's going to ask his mom for something else because he's still a brat. Yeah. Which at the time, which by the way, anyone who is a Battlestar Galactica fan will know, Boxy was not liked. That was not a character that was liked. And when they referenced him in the miniseries, the Ron Moore miniseries, there was a lot of concern he was going to show up in the show. And no, him and the dog are just they're there for an episode and then they disappear. So,
oh dear.
And so Noah's performance unfortunately could not. So Noah being good here is great because the poor guy was not able to save poor Boxy from the annals of television history. And so but it's good. What I also like about the way Eddie's trying to be that motivational speaker, sort of thing, is he comes off incredibly earnest and trying to help the kid. And it's like, I don't know you, but you gotta stay in school. Don't hurt your mom's feelings. Don't do that. Be a good kid, because you gotta be strong like me, like if you think I'm strong, then you gotta do what I did.
Yeah, it's great. It's really, really great. And Carmine, it's just surprising affinity for children. Yeah. Almost in spite of himself. I love the line Squiggy gives upon their exit, go and be a hall monitor or whatever you people do. So good.
And then they have to talk Turkish.
Yeah. And then the long list of things that Squiggy either rejected for Carmine or tried to get him to do. And he insisted you meet the eel first.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember what company it was. They wanted $2,500 to kiss the electric eel, but I argued argued for you to meet the eel first. Good thinking. I love
beautiful. That. All of it was beautiful. All of it's great.
$20,000 to go across a tightrope made of dental floss.
God. You couldn't pay me enough. You could not pay me enough. You could not pay me enough.
No. I'll film them putting it up. Yeah. For $20,000.
Yeah, same. You couldn't pay me enough to do anything.
But I'm not charmed. Like you. I said like you.
Like you.
Yeah. The David sells so many of the little beats of this. The delivery of how you haven't had the hot pod yet. The tightrope is dental floss and the net is Sunset Boulevard. The way he just kind of just slips it out is great.
Yeah. He has that perfect flim-flam cadence. It just works beautifully. I've seen him for the show. Beautiful stuff.
Well, I was going to say, regarding the beneficiary of the life insurance, my note is better call Saul to get rid of that, Carmine.
Avoid all lanterns. The wheeling, the dealing is my other note, because at this point, Squiggy's just convincing Carmine to sell life insurance policies. So over his life insurance policy. Mm-hmm. My note, as we see into the scene on top of the building, as we prepare for the tightrope walk, is why is that woman here?
Yeah, my note is similar. Yikes, the TNA quota really trying to hit this episode.
Why is she even there just randomly sunning herself? It makes no sense.
Yeah,
she didn't need to be there.
It's the assistant that's just eye candy. It's gross. I don't like it.
She's not even an assistant. She's just sitting there tanning.
Yep. Any hope, darling, reaching in those hard-to-reach places? I do want to mention, as we're getting into this rooftop scene, that extra we keep noticing, he's back. He's now working with the film crew.
Yes. Yeah, it's cool. Hey, random extra.
So,
we recognize you.
This dentist turned film director. He's the guy who films, I feel like he's probably just filmed his own commercials, and my note is big deal.
Yeah, big deal. Yeah, you've been there. You know what it's like.
Yep. Feel stupid in this outfit. Of course, you're a superhero. Scream on television. I don't want to look stupid. But yeah, okay. So, question: what are we feeling on this outfit?
It's pretty 70s to be frank. It's a little too 70s to be the mid 60s in my whole opinion.
Yeah.
But it's stylish enough.
Yep. But yeah, and then they have the check and Del Diamond, the reporter, doing his whole shtick, and then Pop finally coming through with the rescue. You can't go through with this, and that's when we gotta get to the big moment. He drags him into the hallway and into the stairwell, and yeah, it's like, I can do this. I'm charmed. What good is charm when you're splattered over the sidewalk down there?
Newspapers also said Huey beat Truman.
Yeah, the yelling of Frank, and that my note also is the yelling of Frank, and then grab the honker.
Frank's kind of being a little bit cruel here, but he just doesn't want anybody to die. So.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the point is to prove that, oh yeah, you can feel pain and a lot of it, because even if you survive a fall like that, your life is gone.
Definitely.
But yeah, but yeah, last year more than 18,000 people, other people, got struck by lightning and they survived. Yeah, they didn't lose their brains, but
they all lived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the bonding here is great. And the whole like. You did it, you did it for them, for the kids. You're greedy. It's $20,000. All right, a little greedy. But yeah.
Great line.
And yeah, then the good, pep talk, and then them telling the security guard, throw the old guy off the roof, and Frank is giving this look like he's gonna punch the guy. As my note is, don't with Frank.
Frank DeFazio will murder if he needs to.
Yep.
So then Squid climbs up on the wire. And he tries to convince Carmine it's perfectly safe. And you can tell that it's a stunt double.
Oh, yeah.
The majority of those scenes.
Yep.
I don't know if David's multiple sclerosis didn't strike and told us like a little bit afterwards of this, but they just did this, put a stunt double in here. And you can tell it's a stunt double with even wig-wise, because the wig is so ill-fitting.
Oh, certainly.
Tell.
But you do notice that both Eddie does the actual stunt to get out in there, and that it is David in the rope pull shots after he slips. So that's very good.
Yes, it is.
Still pretty good.
But he's clinging to the wire. Yes, it is. It absolutely is him.
I will say the great typical asshole director line. Boy, they could fall. I knew I should have put a camera in the street.
Yeah. The director is so gross in this. I should have put the purple suit on the dumb one.
I also love when Eddie gets out there, and when Carmine gets out there and having to yell at Squiggy to like get him to shut up and to like focus, because it's like, I can't concentrate and save us with you yelling, you going on and on. It's funny, but it has the edge of Eddie getting to do a character actor thing and making it very serious all of a sudden. I really love that. Yeah,
that's fun. It is a lot of fun, and he does a really good job of it. He does a really good job of making you care. He manages to make the audience feel much more sympathy for Squiggy than they might have without him.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Then we have, of course, the reporter, trying to milk every ounce out they can of the story. I've never seen this much drama. Lightning Man trying to save the life of his friend and manager, Andrew Squigman. And I love the comeback. This is something you made up so you could become Anchorman. That's a...
Yeah.
And the reporter just taking in stride, like, we can chase an ambulance before airtime.
That was great. A lot of like really pungent observations about reporting life. A lot of really pungent observations about the entertainment industry in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very kind of sarcastic and dry. I see my maker. I see God. And then Squiggy, by the way, blurts out, "Carmine, I get car sick," as he's walking around. Squiggy, honey, you drove for a living for how many years?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Just paint Milwaukee puke? I don't know.
Probably, just roll down the window. It's like, they say it's illegal to spit on the sidewalk, but it's not illegal to puke on the street, on the asphalt.
They can't ticket me for that. Suck it, coppers.
And then Squig being Squig.
Yep, Squig being Squig. If I was any more understanding, I'd be a woman.
Ay.
Oh, Squiggy. All this is pretty good. All this is pretty good dialogue. It's really pretty well handled.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, the Wild Lenny appears in the tag scene.
Yes, I believe you have a note about that.
This outfit is my note. What was your note that I must have said legs or something?
And then legs.
Yeah.
And then comma legs.
Legs. Very enjoyable legs.
Yeah. Lenny, come on down. Fame and fortune await us. Can't they wait for me to get my pants on?
So good. It's so good. It's a new improved Lightning Man. And then enter Herschel, who is attending Kent State.
Yeah, might be dropping out of med school. Yeah, they got a Kent State joke. Oh.
Yeah. can't stay joking somehow. Drop out. Do it. Also, Lenny says that he's though his only experience with superhero stuff was being run over by a bus. He's been run over by multiple vehicles at this point. He's also fallen off the roof several times. We remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Indeed.
Indeed.
So you said that you didn't recognize who Little Herschel was.
No, I did not. And you, however, did.
That is Harvey L. Kahn, the assistant director from You Ought to Be in Pictures.
Oh, okay. Things I didn't know.
So we have already recorded the episode, but we will be coming back to him with some notes for Perfidy in Blue. So we'll get back to that.
That's cool. That's really awesome. Okay, that's really cool.
Anyway, that
things I didn't know.
That covers all my notes. I don't really have much else to say, honestly.
I don't have many more notes either.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got my writer-director stuff. So I do want to at least bring up Jack Luke's returns. He's both an actor and writer on episodes in the past. He was most recently seen in High Price Dates as Ryan, as well as in The Sleep Study in Guinea Pig Season 2, The Security Guard in Supermarket Sweep in Season 4, and Lou in The Diner for Season 5. Now, he also co-wrote Part 1 of Murder on the Moose Jaw Express previously, and after this has 2 more episodes to come in Season 8. Now, we already covered Shelley Goldstein, being staff writer, and went on to work on a handful of other sitcoms like Down to Earth, Head of the Class. Then jumped in the 90s around doing writing for Biography, a couple episodes of Forever Night, and actually has been a writer on the Writers Guild Awards regularly since 2015. So, pretty neat. But okay.
That's neat. That's really cool. That's pretty awesome.
So I already covered Bo Sabato, Dottie Archibald, and Noah Hathaway for the acting crew. I mentioned Murphy Dunn returning here as Del Diamond. He was also a reporter in It's a Dog's Life in Season 4, because he was by this point quite the character actor and already shown up in Blues Brothers. He has one more appearance on Laverne and Shirley to come in Season 8. He was already a character actor with quite a few credits to his name and continued acting, even to the point of recently showing up in Justified, Baskets, Pretty Little Liars, and Veep. Also a shout out to having been in the League of Their Own TV series. And then lastly is Mr. Henshaw, the director. Now, he is one of the most prolific actors to get to show up on Laverne and Shirley, because this may be his only time on the show. He was in dozens of plays, a bajillion TV shows as far back as 1955, and a dozen or so movies. Coincidentally, he also played Harvey Henshaw in an episode of The Courtship of Eddie's Father.
Intriguing.
He'd already tussled with the Marshall Bruce crew on Blansky's Beauties, and 5 episodes of Happy Days by this point, with Charles in charge ahead. He even ended up in That Thing You Do, and most recently in an episode of Grace and Frankie. He sadly passed away in 2020 at the age of 83 due to cancer.
Aw, it's too bad. It's too bad. R.I.P. to him. He did some great work here.
It's a good work here. It's some very good work.
Yeah.
So anyway, that kind of covers all the notes. I guess it's ranking time, eh?
Yeah, it is. I'm going to give this around a 6. Not about 5. It's about a 5, and it gets there surely on the strength of David Lander alone, because he's the best part of this episode. No shade, Eddie Mecca, but the plot is really, really preposterous, and it kind of makes everybody look terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And but some kudos also to Phil, and kudos also to Eddie, and kudos to David, because the performances are all fun in this particular episode. So, but yeah, I can't rank it any higher than a 5, because it's not like necessary.
Yeah, I'm also gonna give it a 5. I wish it was a little more acerbic about filmmaking. I wish it was a little more cohesive. I wish its tone was a little clearer, because it feels it's gonna have a lot in common with the next one we have coming up. So yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, cool. So I guess that covers everything for today.
Yes, it does.
Cool.
It does indeed do.
And with that, we will have a quick word from our sponsor, and hopefully you'll swing around back and listen to us talk a little bit more about what's coming up next on Night After Night. Thanks so much, and stick around. All right, thank you again, everybody, so much for joining us on Night After Night Podcast. If you'd like to know more, you can find us at Night After Night Pod on many different services, including YouTube, Tumblr, WordPress, and Facebook, and wherever good podcasts may be found, man.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, we will be afoot and a boot. So Lisa, I feel like I feel pretty, oh so pretty, so light and wonderful, and hey, I got a gun. What's coming up next?
Are you witty and gay? When the girls find themselves the victims of a robbery, Frank and Carmine try to search out the culprits. But multiple interfering neighbors and gun-related PSAs intervene. Crime isn't pretty.
Government mandated PSAs? Wow, that explains a lot. Okay.
I don't even know if the government mandated this one, but there is definitely a gun PSA in it.
All right.
That's all I can say.
Well, we'll see how bad everybody's trigger discipline is next week on Night After Night. Thanks again, folks.
You sure will. Bye, y'all. For heaven's sake, if you've been struck by lightning, be sure to wear clean underwear. Bye.